and I will be going over basically web work, marketing, and things like that today. So sit back, enjoy. Got questions, please post them. Kimberly should be able to answer them. If not, when we finish the show, she'll be able to go over and everything. So if I can, Kimberly, tell us what you do, why you do it, and how can we make our audience do better?
Well, I'm in marketing and web design. My company is Vision Sales Consulting, and I started it basically because I was just getting a lot of requests to help in doing websites and marketing, and I grew up in the marketing family, so the industry has been very familiar to me, so it was just very comfortable for me to kind of do it as my creative outlet. I eventually started it full time, and because of the requests and I guess I can make some money doing this.
Oh, there you go.
So I eventually went into full time for myself. But one of the things that I do is try to make sense for small businesses how to even start. Where do you start? What do you do? I really have a passion for, especially local businesses, people who have a passion to sell something, to do something, but they don't necessarily know how to really get it out there. How do I know how to make signs or whatever it may be. Like in this case, we're going to have my friend Angie here talk, and she's in real estate. So she knows real estate. So she's spending all of her time understanding real estate and not necessarily understanding the marketing part of it, or all the different ways that Facebook changes on a daily basis on different algorithms. And if you click one extra box, then it means a little certain something, right? Yes.
I did that.
Well, and what's interesting is I actually did something out recently. I was building a Facebook page for a client and wanted to start doing ads and stuff for him and posting jobs. And what I found out is that you're not allowed to post on the job marketplace, which is a great platform on Facebook, to be able to list jobs that are open. But you won't be able to do it from a certain page if that page has less than 50 likes.
Oh, okay.
Go figure. I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. And got a hold of some of my group techies that understood a lot more than I did, and figured out that if you start a page, you can't start using that
until you hit so many likes and stuff, right?
Exactly. So it's different tricks like that I think that someone who is not, if you look at my newsfeed, everything about it is marketing. Everything's marketing and connections, and it has nothing to do, like with real estate. Hers, but you look at her newsfeed, or like even your newsfeed, totally different, right?
Correct.
And so you're going to learn what it is that you do, and you don't necessarily have time to know and do the other parts with marketing. So.
Okay. So does everybody need a Facebook page?
Absolutely. Everybody needs a Facebook page. 80% of people now who actually buy or use a service will go to Facebook first to find out. Even websites are great because there's another reason, another purpose for a website. First and foremost step is Facebook all the time. The Facebook page first.
So you should have a website, Facebook. Should you have Twitter?
Any social media platform is good to start off with, but it also depends on your market. It depends on who your niche is. Something with real estate that with Angie, she might not necessarily use something like a Twitter, or it just really depends. Hers is probably good. She's going to get a lot of her stuff on Facebook. It's going to be a lot of Facebook connections, and Pinterest is also another good one because houses are pretty and they show up really nicely on Pinterest. Okay. So you have to really understand your market to understand what platform you're gonna go for in your industry. So.
Well, that's one of the things this show's all about, folks. Not one platform makes your total marketing. When somebody does marketing, they should know, gee, I tried everything. I tried adopt a highway signs to websites to, I find Google Maps is huge. You got to have Google Maps. If you're not on Google, you can't go anyplace. But I tried everything from print, magazine, newspaper, even radio plugs. There's not any one of them I haven't tried in my business. So what she wants to do is try to explain, or what she does in her job is the web work, the full marketing of that. And like we were talking just a minute ago, Facebook, can you go back over that again, what we were talking about on Facebook as far as
the likes and stuff.
Yeah, the likes and stuff.
So it may seem silly, but part of what's super important, especially when you're part of a lot of groups that, like I am, local moms, local different business groups that you're on Facebook. What's super important is to like and comment, and not because it seems cheesy that you're going to like this person's post all of the time. What that actually does is it tells Facebook that your page is important, and what your information is that content is relevant, and it's all about relevancy. The more relevant you are, the more people's feeds you will be in. So, for example, if you see a sponsored ad come through your newsfeed that is a friend or someone that you know or that you've worked for, make sure you comment on it. Even if it's just, hey, great job, love this look, whatever it is, the content doesn't matter. With the comment,
it's just getting your name out.
It's commenting on their post because you're supporting that business, and every time you support someone else's business, it's going to come back. And most of my clients that I work with, I also try to work with local photographers, graphic designers, print shops, anything local that I can help support in any way, shape, or form. It's always going to come back, and that's where I get all my referral business. So, for example, a photographer, she has a client that does, sell something on Etsy. They don't know how to do websites, but they have this product, and this photographer took pictures of it, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
So they're going to go, oh, wait, I know somebody who did a website. I know how to.
There you go.
And that's how I get my business.
That's why you need to share this video, okay? So if you share this video and put it on yours, then, you'll get more attention and everything. Facebook, and correct me if I'm wrong, only gives you a certain percentage of the friends that you have liked, and that's
not actually true. That's a big old thing that's going around that actually is not true. What gets put in your newsfeed depends entirely on what your viewing habits are. So if you don't actually look at your friends' posts and you don't actually like friends' posts, and you're more involved in groups and business pages, you're not going to see a lot of the friend stuff. If you're more all about seeing everybody's pictures and everybody's vacations,
then that's what you're going.
And that's what Facebook's going to put in your newsfeed. So it doesn't have anything really to do with they have a standard algorithm for that. It has to do with Facebook is really good about finding out what you like, what you do, what your habits are, and then showing you more of that. And so, for example, I got when I go through a kind of a side thing, and you'll be in it, because you did this with me with the Facebook or the garage sale groups, right? With the tribute. When I moved, I was posting everything on these garage sale sites, and so the only thing in my newsfeed was garage sale sites. Every garage sale
all
site,
the ads were coming.
all the ads, everybody's posts on garage sale. I didn't see anything else, but that was because that's what my habit was during that time, and Facebook knows that.
True. So, doing a website, can you give us a little ins and out? Now, my view of a website, I've seen so many beautiful ones, but they don't have any guts and they don't go anywhere. And my whole deal is websites, they can look beautiful, but nobody knows it because you can't be found. So
and that has to do with SEO. So SEO is kind of a big, scary word in the industry that people look at that and they think, oh, you're an SEO expert. Oh, wow. Basically, what I tell my clients in an elementary way is SEO means putting dots out on the internet and connecting those dots. And the dots may be, the big ones are Yelp, Groupon, Google Find, Bing Business, any local listings. Like
DFW Town Guide.
Like your directory.
My directory, that's the whole
point, exactly.
The whole point.
And that's what interests me about what you do, because that fits very well within what I do in putting these dots out there and then connecting them more. Because what Google is, basically what a search engine is it's basically just a bot that kind of goes around the internet and finds all these things, and it goes from one dot to the next. And if your information is connected, like your backlinks that you were talking about, then you will have a longer string of connection, which means you will have a better optimized website.
So when you're doing this, your websites get ranked through Google and everybody with your respect. So when you do Facebook, Twitter, Google Maps, DFW Town Guide, this shows that you are somebody, and they're going to pay more attention, give you more respect than the average person that won't take the time to put your stuff in. That's where you come in.
Right.
And you get everybody organized as far as, yes.
And I connect the dots for them. So as somebody who, on a smaller scale, the big companies, I don't even really want to fool with, just because they can spend thousands and thousands of dollars.
Millions of dollars.
And create a gorgeous website and all the SEO optimization that they can imagine. I want to take that mom and pop person who they just need a landing page. They need
Correct,
someplace to
correct.
send people. They need to be able to be listed in a directory and have a website that it points to, right? And so I will build. There's a big difference between developers and designers. I'm a designer. I look at the pretty things, make it pretty, but it's also functional. I'm not an old school developer. I do have developers on my team that I work with that if it gets too complicated for me,
Right.
like there's so much that's too complicated for me, I'll hand it off to them.
There
But
you go.
I'm basically make it pretty, make it functional, and then connect the dots.
I know my directory, and I've had people, well, it's not very pretty. It's not.
It's a little old school. It is old school.
I'm
but
old.
you're old school.
I'm old school,
You're
and I'm old.
school.
But when you look at mine is extremely fast, which
Yeah.
Google, MSN, all the big players basically grade you on speed. If you look at your phone, it has to work. It has to click on your phone. Your phone doesn't have the megabytes that you do at the house, the download speed and everything. So your phone is slow. So everything's designed to be found. I didn't design it for pretty pictures and to be beautiful. It's functional, and I need it to support you.
Right.
I need it to support you and all of you guys out there. It's got its reasons why, and the more pictures you put, the slower things are. I watch people on their websites, their front page is loaded with everything. Guys, you got to have a landing page. Am I not correct? I mean, it has to click.
Yeah.
Then you can give the people a choice whether they want to spend all their time on your pictures and stuff like that.
Yep. You basically have 3 seconds to capture somebody's attention. You think of when you're scrolling through. That's the scroll time from top to bottom is a 3-second span. And so if you haven't caught somebody's attention because it hasn't loaded in that 3-second time,
You're out.
You're irrelevant. And you might as well not even have a website.
Google only allows 10 spots on each page. So when you're looking at Google, they're going to have their ads. They got to make money. And then they're going to have maps, and then they're going to have the organic listings. And next week, actually the next 2 weeks, I'll get into the organic part of it. And I'll be in a remote area. I'm not going to tell you where I'm going to be, and see if anybody can figure out where I'm going to be. I'll be in sunny waters for the next 2 weeks. So hopefully my internet works. But anyway, that's when you get to it. Like I say, Google only has 10 spots, and you've got to know what you're doing as far as. And I know all you guys out there, you're trying to work, make a living, and everybody says, I don't have time for the marketing, and that's where you come in. Correct?
Right, correct. And also, I'm not going to I don't go out there and promise, hey, I'm going to put your page on first page of Google. I don't do that. What I do is I use.
If anybody tells you that, no.
Yeah. You'll spend the money, and it's a continual thing. It's not something that happens one time, because the next time, the next minute somebody creates a new website,
They can go up there.
it knocks it off, right?
Yeah.
So it's a constant thing. And so what I do from a small business standpoint is I will teach sort of hacks. And one of the hacks is get on all the big places, Groupon, Yelp, because you know what? When somebody puts in my business name, my business page doesn't come up first. My Yelp page, my Google page, and my Groupon page will because you're piggybacking on what they've already done.
Sure.
They're spending the money, and that's what same thing with you. You know that your engines are already. Google knows you're there, right?
Google
and
knows
so
you're
I'm going to piggyback on that. I'm not going to spend the money if someone else has already done the work for me.
That is a strong, what she just said, that's very key. Guys, you just got to do this. And you got to have somebody that knows exactly the ins and outs and the getting on these search engines and stuff like that. So go ahead and tell us your company's name again, how to contact you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Okay, it's Vision Sales Consulting, and you can find me either on Facebook. It's probably the best way because I do most of my business on Facebook. I do my appointments, my messaging, all through Facebook. It's easier. I'm actually in the process of doing a whole rebrand. Or you can call me. My
On
number.
Facebook.
Yeah, that too. I'm actually in the process of finally rebranding. My husband particularly has said, okay, do you realize that you do more marketing and better websites for all of your clients than what you have? And I think that's actually true in the industry. You know, we don't want to actually spend time on our own. So I'm in the process right now of rebranding all my stuff. But Facebook is the best way to find me.
And you can find her listed in
And the
DFW Town
DFW
Guide.
yeah.
So,
and my, just to give a kind of quick recap of what I do, is I do anything from branding to messaging content to websites to then the digital marketing and Facebook ad campaigns. And so it's kind of a really a big stretch of things, and I can either do it in pieces or with some clients I do the whole thing because they're small enough that I can kind of walk them through the whole process.
Kimberly, can people call you up and ask you, can they email you, text you, ask questions? And does it cost if they ask you some questions or anything?
No, absolutely not. And that's part of what being a part of a lot of the local Facebook groups is about, is adding value. I want to add value in places that if it's just something that, you have a question out there, I'm always one of the first people to answer. If it's something that I'm familiar with, absolutely, I'm all about adding back value.
If she doesn't know the answer or I don't know the answer, we've got a lot of friends, and that's where Facebook comes in as a community, where you can get on there and you can ask her questions, or we can have one of our friends market back and forth, maybe not market, but speak back and forth, get a conversation going. So guys, take advantage of this if you would. Anything that you have a question about, web work and stuff like that, we'll get Kimberly back on here and we'll have her on several times, and we'll go over some of the detailed work that's involved and that you should know, not necessarily what she has to do, but what you need to know. And if you have questions, you got specific questions, general questions, please just note them down at the bottom of the page, and one of us will get back with you, and our goal is to help you go forward. And that's where